Yeah, that's not a message you're going to hear this Sunday at your church, but you need to hear it. And I know it looks kind of like a downer type title. So did you notice I used Christmas colors to kind of soften the blow a little bit? And hey, let's add some festive music to it too. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, and hey, let's put a Christmas tree up there. Hey, if there's a Christmas tree, where's Santa? There he is. Hi, Santa. Hi, Santa. I hate Santa. I hate everything about Santa. Hey, Timmy, what supernatural being is Christmas all about? Santa? Uh-huh. Hey, Timmy, what do you want Santa to bring you for Christmas? A CRISPR genome editing kit. Really? You don't want a pickleball paddle at all? We got to be near the end. And I'm not talking about CRISPR editing kits. I'm talking about pickleball. I mean, I think we've officially dumbed down everything now. Everything. And we certainly have dumbed down Rapture Day. And I was going to, when I was heading into this video yesterday, I was going to make the comparison of what Jesus taught and what the church is teaching about the day of the rapture. And to kind of present it to you and say, you've got a choice to make. And it bothered me. And the whole thing just bothered me. I said, something's wrong. I'm going to wait on it. And early this morning, I realized what is wrong. And here was what was wrong with that message. You and I don't have a choice. There is no choice for Christians. What he teaches, we receive. Period. That's how it works. When he tells us inside the Olivet Discourse, be on guard. I have told you all things beforehand. You and I believe that. We don't have an option not to believe that. We don't have an option to let anyone come to us and steal that away from us. He's warning us. Don't let anybody dissuade you from what I'm telling you about my coming. It's for you. You see, Adam and Eve did not have an option. Yeah, you eat fruit of all those trees, not that one. No option. No option. And they understood that. Okay, got it. There's no question. They didn't sit around and go, well, should we eat of it? No, they understood. There's no, that's what our life giver told us. That's what we're going to do. When Satan came into the garden, he's the one that provided the option. Maybe you should eat. Well, we hadn't thought of that. Well, think about it. That's what the church did to us with the teaching of the Lord Jesus Christ about his own coming. And he taught it more than just at the Olivet Discourse, as you're going to see in this video. He was adamant about it. At the very end of his teaching, he says, what I say to you, disciples, I say to everyone, all. And then he says, watch or stay awake. We don't have an option. That's what we are. That's why we put our faith in him. He teaches, we receive. Church came along like a cult and told us, no, we've come up with something new. You see, we believe that Paul told us something new. Wait a minute, we should have said. He said, be on guard. I have told you all things beforehand, but you're saying he didn't? No, we've got to rightly divide the word, silly. So we're going to push all of that into the future. It's not for you. Listen to us. They're like a cult. When a cult comes to your front door and they say, we want to tell you about what we believe. Oh, well, come on in. I'll certainly consider it. Yeah, I want to hear, and I'll consider it, and I'll make my decision. No. You go, no, you're not welcome here. You're a deceiver. Get lost. That's what we should have said to the church. Because they're telling us something antithetical to our faith. You know what we should have told them? What was it that Elon Musk told Disney earlier this week at that interview? Something like that. Maybe a little more civil. Go pound sand. How about that? No, I'm not accepting what you're saying. I'm going to believe in him and what he teaches. Period. A few weeks ago, I told you that one of the reasons at the Olivet Discourse, the disciples asked about his coming, because in previous moments during their journey, he had mentioned his coming, and most notably at Luke 17. And oh, brother, you need to see what he's telling us. I almost entitled this video, Remember Lot's Wife, but I thought that was too obscure. But I like the Christmas colors there. It's a more upbeat thing, I think, but not really. Not really. Wait till you see what he says in Luke 17. Now, people who figure out timelines for the Gospels tell us that Luke 17, and it's a busy chapter, there's a lot going on, happened shortly before the triumphal entry. So they're getting close to Passion Week. So at the Olivet Discourse, which took place a couple of days before his crucifixion, this teaching would have been on their mind, and it's one of the reasons they brought it up to him on the Mount of Olives. I want to go through it verse by verse. It will not take long, but it is powerful. Now, he just got through dealing with the Pharisees, and he said to the disciples, "The days are coming when you will desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you will not see it." Right there, he's telling them, I'm going away. Now, I don't think they fully realized that. They're going to in a few days in the upper room at the Passover meal where he's very direct about it, but he's telling them the same thing right here. I'm going away. But he is also going to tell them how he's coming back for them. And they will say to you, look there, or look here. Do not go out or follow them. For as the lightning flashes and lights up the sky from one side to the other, so will the Son of Man be in his day. So he's coming back, but not here on earth. Look vertical, not horizontal. But first he must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation. Just as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the days of the Son of Man. He mentions that at the Olivet Discourse, and he mentions it here again. It's going to be surprising to the world. They're not going to be ready for it. Sadly, neither is most of the church. They were eating and drinking and marrying and being given in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, just as it was in the days of Lot. Well, he doesn't say this at the Olivet Discourse, but there's a strong reason why he's bringing this up. Likewise, just as it was in the days of Lot, they were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But on the day when Lot went out from Sodom, fire and sulfur rained from heaven and destroyed them all. So will it be on the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Here we go. On that day, let the one who is on the housetop with his goods in the house not come down to take them away, and likewise let the one who is in the field not turn back. Now, that sounds a lot like what he said at the Olivet Discourse, but it's not. It's not. When he talked about don't go down into your house, that was to the first century Christians in the Jerusalem, Israel area. When they see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, get out, flee. If you're in Judea, get out. If you're in the countryside, don't come in. Get out. That's not what he's saying here. It's similar, but totally different. This is what he's saying about his coming. On that day, don't go down on your house and get the goods, your valuables, or as the King James Version says, your stuff. That was a Mandela effect. Remember the Mandela effects? Yeah, that was one of them. People were going, stuff? That wasn't in my Bible. Now it's saying go down and get your stuff. Yeah, that's what it's. Okay, but the Greek word means vessels, goods, property, your valuables, the things you own. Don't go down and get them. If you're in the field, don't go back to the house and get them. What is he saying here? Listen to this. Look what comes next. Remember Lot's wife. Oh, wait a minute. That's loaded. If he is telling his followers and us, remember Lot's wife, he's telling us the same fate that she experienced could happen to you if you're not wise. What is he saying? He's saying on that day, it's going to be so filled with calamity and terrors. And this runs across all platforms of prophecy in the New Testament. He said something very similar in the Olivet Discourse about people fainting with fear and foreboding as they see what is coming on the earth. At the parallel version of the coming in the book of Revelation at the sixth seal, we see all mankind, from the great commanders to the lowly servants, all hiding. Fall on us, they say to the rocks they're hiding in the caves. Hide us. They'd rather die than face what's going on out there. It's a day of terror, a day of foreboding. And nobody's popping off at that point, are they? Everybody is scared. And he is saying, don't you do that. Don't be thinking about your possessions and valuables on that day, because you're going to be offered something new on that day. He is going to take you on that day. Don't run back to your house. If your immediate instinct is, I better protect my valuables, I better run back to my house and gather up my valuables. And he's not telling you where to run. He's telling you, don't run. Don't do that. Don't be like Lot's wife. She was offered an escape, but she turned back. She was told, don't turn back. She couldn't give up her life in Sodom. He's telling us here, remember that. Don't go in. Don't make this about your valuables. Don't make this about your life now. Your life is about to change if you're willing to receive it. Here's what he says next. Remember Lot's wife, he says, followed with, whoever seeks to preserve his life will lose it. That's running back into the house and getting your valuables, saying, I got to protect what's mine here on this earth right now, my life. But whoever loses his life will keep it. Whoever is willing to say, I'm done with this life. I'm done. The possessions, the valuables, everything I've accumulated are not what this day is about. It's about him. He's coming. He expects us to know that on this day and to react accordingly. How you react will reveal what's in your heart. If you're focused on the wealth of this world or the things that you've got coming up in the future, you're not going to behave properly. You're not going to do what you're supposed to do, which is turn your back on all of that and get ready to receive him. That's how you save your life. You lose your life here on earth. You say, okay, that phase is done, and I'm ready to move on. Listen to what he says next. I tell you, in that night there will be two in one bed. One will be taken and the other left. There will be two women grinding together. One will be taken and the other left. He's coming for his people. Not everybody is going. I need to show him we're ready. This tracks very well with the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 foolish, 5 wise. Don't be thinking about your possessions and your accomplishments and the future that you might have on this earth. Give that up, because a new life, a better life, is coming on that day. Now, in some versions, there's another verse. Not with the more modern Bibles using the best Greek text. That verse isn't in that Greek text, but I'll show it to you anyway. It says the same thing. 2 men working in the field, one will be taken, one will be left. So it doesn't change anything whether you have that in your Bible or not. And the disciples then ask a very good question. And they said to him, where, Lord? In other words, where are they being taken? One will be taken, one will be left. Where are they being taken? Where, Lord? He said to them, where the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. In other words, in the air. That's where vultures gather over a dead body. That's where he's taking them. It's exactly what Paul said. We will meet him in the air if you're willing, if you can give up this life. If you can't, you better remember Lot's wife. That's a whole lot different than what they teach us. They teach us a very sanitized version of the rapture day. Oh, it'll just happen on a normal day. And the world will go, where did all the Christians go? And they'll have to come up with something and they'll say, well, UFOs took them or something. It's fantasy. It's fantasy. This is important. He expects us to put some thought in. That's why he gave us signs. So as it gets closer, we can really begin to take these things seriously. He's taking it very seriously. And how do we take it? Oh, we rightly divide it and we shove it into the future away from us. Right now, if that day happened here on earth right now, the church would go running and screaming along with the pagans into caves and rocks. That's not what he wants us to do. At the Olivet Discourse, he says, when you begin to see all these things, all the signs that I told you about, straighten up. Raise up your head, because your redemption has come near. Get ready. You're in the hour of his coming. World scrambling. Not you. You're ready to give up the world and receive him. And if you are not listening to his teaching, you are listening to people who aren't even going in the rapture. I believe Sardis is the evangelical church of our age. And they're not going in the rapture. 2 times in that letter to Sardis, he uses the word wake up. Twice he tells them, wake up. If you don't, I will come on you as a thief. He uses Greek word 1127. Do you know where else he uses that Greek word? There are several Greek words for watch. He uses Greek word 1127. Wake up, watch. Probably both, but you'll see both in various translations. Wake up or watch. I'd go with wake up and watch. You know where else he uses that word, that exact same Greek word at the Olivet Discourse? What I say to you, I say to all. Greek word 1127. Wake up, watch. He is actually turning Sardis back to the Olivet Discourse. Why? Because they had at one time received something, heard something and received it, and they've forgotten it. And now he's saying, because of that, you won't know the hour that I'm coming, and I will come up on you or against you. It is not a harmonious word. It's an adversarial word. They are not going unless they repent, unless they turn back to his teaching and understand what is going on. To the Church of Philadelphia, he says, I have an open door. He sees us in one of those churches. You want to be seen in the Church of Philadelphia because the Church of Philadelphia is going to be kept from the hour trial that's coming. There's a whole nother phase that's coming when Satan and his angels are cast to earth. You do not want to be here for that. He said, I will keep you from that. Why? Because you kept my word. Some translations, because you kept my command about remaining behind. That's what the Greek word literally means. It's translated endurance or perseverance, but it really means remaining behind. What I told you how to remain behind, because you listened to what I said. Sardis didn't. Philadelphia did. And they're awake and they're watching. Philadelphia doesn't blow off his teaching because friends, brothers, and sisters, that option is not available to you. The church offers you a false option. They come to you and say, don't listen to the Olivet Discourse and his teaching on the coming. Listen to us. That's a false option. That's not an option. That's a slam the door in their face, get off my property response. The Lord, however, does offer us a legitimate option. One way or the other, he says, you're going to lose a life. You're either going to lose this material life, this earthly life, in exchange for what he is offering on that day, or you're going to keep this earthly life and reject him on that day. Is your salvation at stake? I haven't even brought that up. I don't know. All I know is there is the chance of us missing that opportunity. That's why he's telling us, remember Lot's wife. Even if you choose badly on that day because you haven't thought it through, it will still be forgivable. But why in the world would we pick the worst option when the best option is so easy to embrace?